And welcome everybody to our latest episode of Picklebilly Presents. And today's guest is Nard, and you are in Sacramento.
I am. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So we've got a lot to talk about, and so we're going to go over some of the things that you are focusing on. I'd like to get some advice for my pickleball play. And
Okay.
you guys are in for a lot of little surprises here today. So, so let's start off with positive dinking. And yeah. So first of all, why the name? What is How did you come up with that?
Positive Dinking is a small company. It's just my best friend and I who teach pickleball together. And we just started teaching our friends. We all, we wanted to get all of our friends to play. So we started teaching them all for free. And then someone finally said, you guys should charge money for this. And we were like, what? And a business was born. And then Rian and I are both sadly into puns. We both enjoy a good pun battle. And so positive dinking being a bit of a play on words for positive thinking, although half the people that come to us think we are positive drinking.
Yeah.
We're like, we need to buy that domain name because they all think, oh, it was positive drinking. But we came to that name because we have both taken like clinics or lessons where we cried or went home and cried, where it was stressful and hard. And we didn't want to teach that way. We wanted to teach in like a safe and supportive manner, inject some humor in there. And what we found is that people's minds just sort of open up when you tell them, you know what, you're in a safe space here. We're not going to laugh at you. We might laugh with you. We're going to have some fun. But, if you try a stroke or a skill or whatever and you swing and miss, that's fine. Don't worry. Like, so we just kind of tell them right up front, like, you're going to be okay. Have fun. Try these things. See if they work for you. And we'll go from there. And so
Yeah.
we really believe in teaching in a positive way.
Yeah. And so I imagine that you probably have great success with that because if people are able to feel confident, if they able, it kind of takes that anxiety away and then you're better able to execute.
Yeah, I feel like people kind of become these happy sponges at that point. Like they're just soaking it in and really
Yeah.
enjoying it. Sometimes they'll leave with just tons of information and abdominal pain from laughing so hard.
That's a good thing to have.
Yeah, I'm like, doesn't that sound
Yeah.
like fun?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, so here's a picture of you and your partner
Yeah,
and
that's Rian Steele. Yep.
yeah. And okay, and then yeah, so what's happening here with head? So you're involved with head pickleball?
Yes, Rian and I are both sponsored players for Head Pen Pickleball. Head and
Mhm.
Pen both being the same company essentially.
Yeah.
So we've been sponsored players for a few years, and then just before the pandemic started, I signed on as the regional marketing coordinator for Head
Mhm.
Pen Pickleball for Northern California.
Yeah.
So I kind of choose and manage the sponsored players in my area. I,
Yeah.
ship out the demo bags and I put on demo days and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. It seems like they're really working on putting out some great paddles. And it seems like they're getting a lot of notice lately in our
I'm so,
pickleball world.
you
Yeah.
mean, yes,
Oh, that's
happen to have one
great.
right here.
Yeah. And why do you like that? Which no, is that the one you play with right there?
That is one of the ones I play with. I
Yeah.
tend to be a little depends on the day how I feel which paddle I play with, but I
Yeah.
mostly play with the head gravity paddle
Yeah.
or the Extreme Tour Max. I tend to like a slightly heavier paddle. Um, I'm kind of a big strong girl. And
Yeah.
I like a hefty paddle. The gravity I absolutely love. It's the first paddle that we've ever recommended for beginner to pro. The gravity and the gravity light because it has an incredibly large sweet spot, so it's very forgiving,
Yeah.
and it has the control stability technology in it, so that you hit a little bit out of the sweet spot, it's not going to wobble on you. And then I was also a head player in racquetball as well, a million years ago, many pounds ago, I'll say. And the head grip it just, as soon as I grabbed that paddle, I was like, oh, I'm home. I love the
Interesting.
tapered grip that it has. And I
Yeah.
tend to hold my paddle really low on the grip. And
Yeah.
so as soon as I held it, I was like, yeah, this is it. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. And I was hearing someone did a video and it was on adding weight.
Hmm.
It was Steve Paranto, actually. That's who it was. And adding weight, and then really that you really should do that. So just I'm wondering, have you done that? Have you considered
I
it?
I have, in fact, funny you ask. Seems like I just pull out one pickleball paddle after another. Uh, I might have
Oh.
a I might have a problem. Uh, I am actually in the process of sort of experimenting with weight addition. And
Yeah.
so I recently watched some videos. I watched some Sarah Ansbury stuff about adding weight, some
Yeah.
Ben John stuff about adding weight. And like I said, I do like a fairly heavy paddle.
Yeah.
So like this paddle that I'm working with right now is another head gravity paddle, but it is weighted down here towards the throat.
Okay, now show me that. What is that? Is that like lead tape or is it duct tape? What is
Well,
it? What did you do?
it's under this electrical tape. It's right about here. It's lead tape. It's covered with electrical tape,
Okay.
and then it has my name on it.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
because I am experimenting, I have in a label here. It says 8.5 throat. So it tells me that underneath this electrical tape, it tells me where it's weighted and how heavy this paddle is.
Okay. Where do you buy lead tape?
It's this little tiny place called the internet. Um, yeah.
Oh, well,
What? I know.
Amazon? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Okay.
most of the local like tennis pro shops or whatever, because tennis players do it too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm sure most of those can sell it as well.
Yeah.
I did get mine on Amazon, I think,
Yeah.
and there's different widths and stuff of it, and it'll tell you like this much lead tape equates to this many grams or
I see.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of playing with
And
it.
yeah. And so are you practicing with where you're putting it? So I
Yes.
noticed yours was kind of near the handle. So everywhere you place it is going to give you a
Just
different variance.
right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I have a couple of paddles that are weighted differently. So I'm experimenting with some that are weighted sort of all the way around the
Yeah.
paddle.
And are you
Um,
trying to keep it? So are you trying to keep it between 8 and 9?
I'm trying to not focus on total weight too much. What I'm trying to
Oh,
focus on, do I like the balance of the way this paddle feels?
yeah.
Do I like what's happening with my shots with the way this paddle feels? So, like, I went to a tournament in Oregon a couple months ago, and I had a paddle with me that was weighted all in the head at the tip of the paddle. And it was at slightly higher elevation as well. So I play normally pretty much sea level, and then Bend, Oregon is at like 3,600 feet. And I was
Yeah.
warming up and I noticed that all my shots were going about a foot out. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
elevation
Yeah.
was a problem. And
Yeah.
then I switched back to a paddle that had no weight added to it.
Yeah.
And things started coming in. So
Yeah.
I'm really still in the experimental stage with it. I kind of love the head gravity paddle as is. It's
Yeah.
an 8.1 ounce paddle, but
Yeah.
more important than the weight is it's a super well balanced paddle,
Yeah.
which I really appreciate.
Yeah. That's really nice. Okay, so I have a question for you. Okay, so I think your clinics look amazing. I would love to come up and take one sometime.
They're fun.
Yeah, or maybe have you come down here. We could get a group together if
You're
you ever do
in
that.
Paso Robles.
Yeah, we're about 5 hours south of you.
Yep.
But okay, here's a question. Okay, so you are ready to play a match. You are the first server.
Mm-hmm.
What goes through your mind when you're on the court and you're starting? Do you try and keep your mind blank so that you're just free to react with what happens, or or are you going in with a plan? Tell me right there, starting your serving, what's going through your mind, looking at your opponent with your partner, what's your focus?
Well, I like to always go in with a plan. I try to go into every single point with a plan and work out the plan a little bit before the serve starts. Because I always feel like the more you can plan ahead some of these decisions, because pickleball is such a fast, dynamic sport, the more you can decide ahead of time, the better off you'll be. So before I serve, hopefully I will have noticed some things during warm up. Okay. Or if I know this team, I'm going to know these things already. But am I playing against any lefties? Are they stacking? Does one appear to be much better than the other? That kind of thing. I'm going to look for the weaknesses, and I'm going to try to warm up as best I can, but also spy on their warm up a little bit. See like are one of the players' drops just not working? That might be a good thing to know. So before I serve, I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to call the score. Unless there's a ref, then the ref will call the score. And I always say, call the score and let it settle. I see a lot of people call the score and serve at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's not what we recommend. So call the score, let it settle. Take a breath. Think about where I'm going to serve, why I'm serving there. Okay, I'm usually going to serve deep. If I see them standing really far back, I might serve a short serve. If I see, a weakness anywhere, I might try to serve to that weakness. And then I'm also going to think about, if the ball comes back to me, where's my third shot going to go? So I try to think, because I have a moment, right? It's my moment. So I can take that time to think about what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
If I get a short ball, a short high return, I might try to drive it. Early in a match, I will tend to drive it a little bit to see how the opponents handle the drive. Once I see that they handle the drive well, it's all drops. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Kind of information collecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then do you ever find yourself in a match? Because sometimes I have to talk myself into things, like either my focus. I remind myself, like, okay, I got to see the holes in the ball, stay focused with where it's going, or you got this, Janice. You could do it. You're a good athlete. Like, do you ever have to remind yourself of those things, or does it just come just totally naturally to you at this point?
No,
like your own coach, like coaching yourself during the game.
No, I can tell you that coaching yourself during the game is horrible. It's so bad. Whenever I make a mistake, I'm like, that is exactly what we teach people not to do. That kind of stuff. It's like, you know better. Why don't you do better? And I would say I'm certainly a much better coach than I am player. And I think that's true for a lot of coaches. I saw on the internet one time, someone said, just take a lesson with a 5.0 player. And I'm like, you know what? A lot of the 5.0 players are terrible at teaching. You need someone who's good at teaching. But unfortunately, I'm constantly in my own head and, coaching myself. And I'm like, okay, breathe, relax. And a lot of times, honestly, I rely a ton on whoever my doubles partner is that day to kind of lift me up. If I get a little bit down, I think that is the number one job of a doubles partner, is to lift your partner up. And so, if I'm getting down, I'm hopeful that my doubles partner will come over and go, we'll do a little paddle tap and go, you know what, you got this. You are a great pickleball player. You got this. Here we go. Let's have some fun. Let's focus. Here we go. That kind of positive talk.
Isn't that, okay. And have you worked that out with your partner? Because like with myself, if you came up to me and go, oh, Janice, you're really good. You got this. I think I need someone to go, Janice, just like get it over the net. Like, how to do that. Like I'd be like, oh yeah. Okay. And then I would do it.
Well, I do come from a company called Positive Dinking. So I try to stay on brand, we don't get in there and go, get your head in the game,
I know.
Sometimes I'll try to do something to even kind of break the tension, I always feel like one of the best things you can do is to tell your pickleball doubles partner, smile.
Yeah.
Smile breaks the tension. It relaxes you. And a lot of times when that tension is broken, you can refocus.
Yeah.
And one of the major things I do to maintain focus is what's called paddle tracking, where I've
Yes.
got both hands out in front of me, and as the ball moves around on the other side of the court, I am squaring up my shoulders
Yeah.
and my paddle to the ball. And it's
Yeah.
hard to paddle track and lose focus.
Yeah. Yeah, because your whole body's involved. Your body's
Right.
moving. Your mind's there.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you're all in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, well, and so I wanted to ask you also because I know that you had a big career as a racquetball player, and then I know you went through a, traumatic injury, and was that in the Air Force?
It was. Yeah.
It was in the Air Force.
Yeah. So I can give you kind of a brief history on that if you want.
Mhm.
I was a racquetball player at the national level in the late 70s, early 80s. And I won 2 national titles in women's 19 and under doubles, 82 and 83. And I taught racquetball locally here in the Sacramento area and also in Japan, representing the company that I worked for. And so I got a lot of experience with that. That was great. And then I kind of burned out on racquetball, to be honest, and I joined the Air Force.
Hmm.
And I even actually played a little bit for the Air Force as well. Got to travel a little bit and do that.
So, despite your success, I mean, you were all over the place, and it just became you just tired of it.
Yeah, I mean, you wake up every weekend and go, God, what town am I in? I don't know. And as a very young person, and experimenting with new relationships with people and living on your own, and you have so
Yeah.
much going on anyway. And I was trying to get through college, and I was
Yeah.
just like, this is too much. I need to take a step back and not have this be my whole life.
Yeah.
And
So you
so.
joined the Air Force.
Mhm. I did, and they made me an X-ray tech, uh, and which was good. I had a job the moment I got out of the Air Force, which was really great. I was
Yeah.
never unemployed after that.
Yeah.
uh, and so I was in a military exercise at one point in Alaska, and we were lifting patients, and I kind of blew out my back.
Hmm.
I was lifting a patient, and then I just remember screaming really loud, and next thing I knew, I was in an ambulance and spent some time in the hospital. And I've had back pain every day, all day, ever since. And I've had back surgery and all kinds of treatments and good times. But it's been a
Yeah.
life of chronic pain ever since.
Oh, I'm sorry, but
Well, I'm playing pickleball now, so
well, I
yay.
know that's what I know. But an interest. I mean, so yeah. Okay. So how did you then go from this to your current successful, endeavors with pickleball?
Well, there was a long break in between
Mm.
where honestly, as far as activities go, I did some hiking, some biking, but
Hmm.
nothing, really passionately.
Yeah.
And then I started to hear about pickleball, and it was like, As soon as I saw it, I was like, I think I'd be good at this.
Yeah.
This is like right up my alley. Because I come from a big tennis family. I mean, I started playing tennis when I was 4. Uh,
Oh, yeah,
and
and the
yeah,
racquetball,
and then,
like
a little bit of
yeah,
racquetball.
yeah,
And so I was like, man, I just would love to have some sort of paddle or racket back in my hand again.
yeah,
And I went out and my sister said, you got to come out and play because she tried it. And
yeah,
so I watched like 2 videos the night before I played. One was rules, one was scoring.
yeah. Oh, you
and
did?
and then
Oh, that's how you got acclimated before you went onto the court? You just watched
yep.
a couple videos and
And
then
then
went out there?
my very first match I won.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then I kind of just kept winning and met some really great people. I've met some of my dearest friends through pickleball. And
yeah.
so I started to sort of feel better. Uh, and I call it my antidepressant with side effects because it just makes me so much happier as a person. And then it really aggravates my chronic pain. So,
Oh,
there's the side effects, but overall, I'd say I'm a happier person because of pickleball.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
end
And
of
I'm
story.
sure,
I mean, that's
like,
awesome, right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. And I've heard many stories of people who have how it has just transformed their life, you
Yeah.
know, from many different obstacles and things that life can throw at you. I mean, pickleball, and I do like to say pickleball will save the world, and I'm really not kidding.
Hey,
You know,
wouldn't we be better off settling our issues on pickleball courts and finding common ground together on pickleball courts?
yeah, yeah,
Sure.
yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. Um, and I know it just but also with getting older, I know at one point we were in Canada and I was lifting a suitcase into the trunk, and I had the same thing happen with my back, and it wasn't as severe as yours, but I had never had that happen before. And it's just been a constant, rehabilitation. And
Mhm.
now I've just got to be really careful. Even going out to the court, I always do certain leg exercises. I
Mhm.
stomach core exercises. Just as we age, we're
Mhm.
all, you know, uh, using those things, and you got to,
Yeah.
yeah, keep them
Yeah.
together.
I also have hip dysplasia in both hips, so I've had my whole pelvis reconstructed to make my hips fit better. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's a challenge as well. So kind of that center section of my body doesn't work so well. Uh, but at least I have a bad shoulder to go with it.
Oh, there you go.
But
Keep the balance.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, you know what? I gotta keep moving because
Yeah.
it's a struggle. But honestly, even there's going to come a time where I can't play and I can only teach, and I know that that's coming.
Yeah.
And I get as many endorphins, I think, or adrenaline or whatever it is out of teaching as I do playing, because
Yeah.
it's sharing the joy of pickleball.
Yeah.
We always start our
Yeah.
intro clinics with, I apologize for the addiction you're about to acquire.
It will consume your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Kiss
I
all your
know.
free time goodbye.
I know. I always say it's amazing when I don't play pickleball. It's like, well, look what everything I've gotten done. Like, how do I, how do I even do this?
Yeah, it's weird the house is cleaner for some reason.
Yeah, yeah. I get groceries, dinner's
Yeah.
made.
What?
Yeah. Uh, well, I wanted to ask you also, you mentioned this to me, and I stumbled across it. I used to be somebody. Okay, that is a hilarious title. I used to be somebody.
Yeah,
And
that's a
then, so yeah, let me pull that up. I want to get this here and show everybody what it is. But if you could tell everybody about it while I'm pulling it up, that would be
yeah.
great.
Yeah, so my friend Carl Landau, who was in an intro clinic that we put on once, and of course he discovered pickleball and got totally addicted, and then not long after started this little company called Pickleball Media, and he retired from his regular job, which was like helping other people start like niche magazines and publishing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so he's like, you know what? I don't want to be like retired. I still want to do something. And so he created this podcast and newsletter that he asked me to help him with. And so every week he interviews somebody who had like a big time career, or something really interesting that they did with their career, and then has moved on to retirement to do something also very interesting. And so like he's interviewed like a lady who did her first film, as a director or producer of a film at like age 70. A lot of these
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
very impressive, and it's really cool. So each week it's an interview that he does, and he's a good interviewer
Yeah.
of these people. And then the last 5 minutes or so of the podcast, he brings me on, and it's called Pickleball Life Lessons with Mo,
Yeah.
um, which, believe me, I'm not one to tell you how to live, okay? But but
Okay. Okay.
it's a fun segment. And it's always done impromptu. It's always improvised, and he'll ask me questions, and we'll kind of go from there. And yes, I make fun of him a little bit, but he also makes fun of me, and it's just kind of a light comedic moment that we spend together, and also kind of preaching the power of positivity in pickleball as well.
Okay. It says, is each week with Mo Nard about how life relates to pickleball. And then it says, we're here to confuse. Mo wants to bring recess back. Are you feeling lucky? Partner up the life. And okay, so I want to hear about a little bit about that, how life relates to pickleball. Okay, let me just be uh, the opposite. Okay, pickleball is a game, Mo. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
game. Okay. You go there, you're playing with a ball, you exercise, and that's it. It is not life. Convince me I'm wrong.
Okay, you're totally wrong.
Oh.
Whoa, yeah, yeah. So and my teaching partner Rian and I both share this philosophy deeply. It's like in school, the big like relaxer, the big tension burner, and the stress reliever was recess.
Hmm.
And then you grow up, and recess is over. That doesn't seem right. And so I feel like you can lead a better, more balanced life if you bring more play and recess back to it.
You mean,
Hence,
but I've got to pay the
pickleball.
bills. I've got to, yeah.
Yeah. So there's time for paying the bills, but you've got to create time for yourself. I think play is an important part of self care. And if you're not playing, you're not fully living, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so whether it's pickleball or basketball or competitive crocheting, I don't know. I don't know if competitive crocheting is a thing, but it probably should be. Um,
Yeah. Ready,
but
go.
yeah, so but I just think that's kind of be brave, be okay with sucking at something new. That's okay.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the way we talk about pickleball life lessons is encouraging people to try out new things and have fun, and don't forget to burn off some energy and some stress by maybe playing a sport or like pickleball.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, I think I'm going to wrap things up. I usually have these go for about a half hour,
Hmm.
and anyway, it's been lovely to meet you. And so, Positive Dinking is the website,
Yep.
and you're based out of Sacramento. Can people contact you? Will you travel and do things, or do you prefer to stay there in your hometown?
Well, our product is essentially that we always teach together. And
Okay.
so, even if you're in a private lesson, you get both instructors, which is pretty cool
Yes.
because, like, if I'm feeding balls, I can analyze the student from one angle, and Rian can analyze the student from like a 90-degree opposite angle.
Yeah.
And so that's really cool. So we can only really do traveling stuff if we're traveling together.
Yeah.
Um, but it's certainly something that can be arranged. I love to go to Paso Robles. I am a good friend of Sylvie Beauregard. So,
Oh yeah. Okay.
so
Okay.
I love the Yellow Kitchen Court. Um,
Yes. Yes. Have you come down to play? Have you played there?
oh yeah,
Oh, you have. Oh,
yes, I
wonderful.
have.
Okay. I've played
Yeah,
there many, many times. Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
I
But
know Steve and Bonnie, and yeah. Anyway,
oh,
Paso
okay.
Robles is a great pickleball community, and I
Yeah.
love I love going down there. We bring our trailer down there and have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got the tournament this weekend. They have their annual pickleball tournament in past. Yeah. So
Hmm.
that'll be tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm playing in a
And
tournament up
then
here tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah. And then is your the podcast? I used to be somebody,
Hmm.
and that's on all the major different. Um,
Yes, yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
Spotify, Apple
yeah.
Podcast. Yeah,
Yeah, and I
so
recommend you check out I Used to Be Somebody and sign up for their newsletter. You'll get a weekly tip written by me.
I love it. I love it. Well, all right. Thank you again. Thanks for being a
Thank
part of
you.
this. And all right, we'll catch you, see you out on the courts.
Okay, thanks, Jan.
Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.